The mighty Zambezi River, a shimmering ribbon of life, winds its way through the heart of southern Africa. Its waters pulse with ancient rhythms, shaping the land and nourishing a vast wilderness that stretches as far as the eye can see. This river is a colossal artery, carving deep channels through dense forests and open plains, its currents weaving a tapestry of life and death across thousands of kilometers. Along its banks, the wild thrives. Herons stand motionless in the shallows, waiting for the flicker of a fish. Dragonflies skim the surface, their wings catching the sunlight, while beneath the water unseen dramas unfold. The Zambezi swells into vast lakes, like the immense man-made expanse of Lake Cahora Bassa in Mozambique, where the water's surface can turn from glassy calm to storm-lashed fury in moments. Beneath these waters, hidden from view, lurks one of the world's most ancient and formidable predators, the Nile crocodile. Its eyes, just above the surface, betray nothing of the power coiled beneath. The crocodile moves with ghostly silence, gliding through reeds and murky shallows, its armored body perfectly adapted for ambush. It is a master of patience, waiting for hours, even days, for the perfect moment to strike. On sunlit sandbanks, these giants bask, mouths agape to regulate their body temperature, their rough hides blending seamlessly with the mud and stone. The evidence of their presence is everywhere, deep claw marks in the mud, the drag of a heavy tail leading back to the water's edge. When the crocodile strikes, it is a blur of violence. The water erupts in a frenzy of teeth and muscle, the attack over in seconds, leaving only swirling mud and silence in its wake. The river quickly returns to calm, the predator vanishing beneath the surface, leaving behind only ripples and the faintest trace of bubbles. The cycle of life continues. Crocodiles guard their nests with fierce devotion, burying eggs in warm sand, ever watchful for threats from other predators. Tiny hatchlings emerge, scrambling for the safety of the water, their journey fraught with danger from the very first breath. As dusk falls, crocodiles slip silently into the river, their movements barely disturbing the golden surface. Night is their domain, and the darkness is their ally. Their eyes reflect the moonlight, unblinking as they patrol the riverbanks, ever alert for the faintest sign of prey. With explosive speed, they lunge at fish or unwary animals that venture too close, their jaws snapping shut with bone-crushing force. The struggle is brief and brutal. The crocodile drags its catch beneath the surface, where the river hides all evidence of the hunt. In the aftermath, the crocodile returns to stillness, blending once more with the river, a living shadow among the reeds. The boundaries of their territory are marked not by fences, but by floating logs, submerged branches, and the silent threat that lurks beneath. At dawn, the river is shrouded in mist, crocodile silhouettes gliding through the water like ancient spirits, unchanged for millions of years. Their presence is constant, their patience infinite. They wait beneath lily pads, invisible, the river's silent assassins. The crocodile's body is a marvel of evolution. Armored scales, powerful limbs, and jaws lined with teeth designed for gripping and tearing. During floods, they expand their range, swimming through submerged forests, weaving between tree trunks in search of new territory and food. In the heat of midday, they return to the banks, sunning themselves on rocks, conserving energy for the next hunt. Always watching, always waiting, the crocodile is both guardian and executioner of the river's balance. Their movements shape the ecosystem, disturbing fish and frogs, keeping populations in check and ensuring the river's wild order endures. But the world is changing. Storms gather, water levels rise and fall, and the crocodile must adapt or perish. In times of drought, they are forced into shrinking pools, their world reduced to muddy remnants of the once mighty river. Pollution and environmental stress threaten their ancient domain, challenging their survival in ways they have never faced before. Yet, the crocodile endures, navigating tangled roots and swirling currents, a living relic of a primordial world. The balance of the Zambezi is delicate, shaped by forces both natural and unnatural, and the crocodile is at the heart of this deadly equilibrium. As the sun sets over the Zambezi, the river glows with the promise of life and the certainty of danger. Here, the deadly coexistence of predator and prey is written into every ripple, every shadow, every silent glide beneath the surface. When a problem becomes this deadly, it demands attention. The Zambezi River, a vast artery winding through southern Africa, is home to one of the most formidable predators on the continent, the Nile crocodile. Along the banks of Lake Cahora Bassa, the crocodiles reign supreme, their presence woven into the very fabric of the ecosystem. These ancient reptiles are masters of patience and stealth, perfectly adapted to the murky waters and tangled reeds that line the river's edge. Their hunting strategies are a blend of raw power and calculated precision, honed over millions of years of evolution. Crocodiles lie motionless, half-submerged, their eyes and nostrils just above the waterline, blending seamlessly with the floating debris and shadows. They wait for hours, sometimes days, for the perfect moment to strike, using the river's currents and shifting light to their advantage. With a sudden burst of speed, they lunge from the water, jaws snapping shut with bone-crushing force, their attack almost always silent and unseen until it is too late. The Zambezi's crocodiles are not solitary hunters. They often share territories, their movements dictated by the rise and fall of the river, the abundance of prey, and the shifting sands of the floodplain. Their habitats are as varied as the river itself: deep pools, tangled mangroves, and sun-baked sandbanks, each offering unique advantages for ambush and concealment. In the early morning mist, crocodiles glide silently through the water, their armored bodies barely causing a ripple, their senses attuned to the faintest vibrations. Their eyes, set high on their heads, allow them to scan the riverbank while remaining almost completely submerged, a perfect vantage point for ambush. The river itself is a living, breathing entity shaped by seasonal floods and droughts, its channels shifting, its banks eroding, creating new hiding places for these apex predators. Crocodiles exploit every feature of their environment, using submerged logs, overhanging branches, and dense vegetation as cover. Their territories stretch for miles, overlapping with those of other crocodiles, each animal carving out its own niche in the complex web of river life. The Zambezi's vastness is both a sanctuary and a hunting ground, its waters concealing countless dangers beneath the surface. Crocodiles are opportunistic feeders, preying on fish, birds, and mammals, their diets shifting with the seasons and the river's bounty. During the dry season, when water is scarce and prey is concentrated, their attacks become more frequent and more daring. The ecosystem itself is a delicate balance, with crocodiles playing a crucial role as both predator and scavenger, keeping populations in check and the river healthy. Their presence shapes the behavior of every creature along the river, from the smallest fish to the largest mammals. The speed and efficiency of their attacks are legendary. Crocodiles can launch themselves from the water with explosive force, their jaws closing with a pressure unmatched in the animal kingdom. Yet for all their power, they are vulnerable to changes in their environment. Pollution, habitat loss, and shifting water levels threaten their survival as much as any rival. The Zambezi's crocodiles are not mindless killers, but complex creatures, each with its own territory, habits, and role in the river's intricate tapestry. Their survival depends on the health of the river, the abundance of prey, and the stability of their ancient habitats. To truly understand the Zambezi's killers, one must look beyond the surface, into the hidden world beneath the water, where every ripple tells a story of survival, adaptation, and the relentless struggle for dominance. The crocodiles are not just predators. They are the river's ancient guardians, their fate intertwined with the fate of the Zambezi itself. Each crocodile is a living relic, a survivor from a time when dinosaurs ruled the earth, perfectly engineered for the challenges of this wild, unpredictable river. The state of the environment, polluted waters, deforested banks and encroaching development threatens to upset the delicate balance that has existed for millennia. The behavior of the crocodiles, their hunting, nesting and territorial disputes all play a part in the ongoing drama of the Zambezi. The river's ecosystem is a living puzzle, each piece vital to the survival of the whole. From the air, the Zambezi reveals its secrets: hidden channels, isolated pools, and the sprawling wetlands that serve as nurseries for young crocodiles. On the water, the crocodile's domain stretches as far as the eye can see, a realm where only the strongest survive. Deep within the reeds and tangled roots, hatchlings emerge, their survival uncertain in a world filled with danger. The quest to understand the Zambezi's killers is a journey into the heart of a wild, ancient ecosystem, one where the crocodile is both hunter and hunted, a symbol of the river's enduring power and mystery. At the heart of Lake Cahorabassa, a silent crisis unfolds beneath the shimmering surface. The balance of life here is dictated by the relentless rhythm of nature, but that rhythm has been disrupted. The once abundant fish populations that formed the foundation of the Zambezi's ecosystem are now a shadow of what they once were. The river, once teeming with life, now struggles to sustain even the smallest of its inhabitants. Fish that should have grown large and strong are caught before they reach maturity, leaving only the young and the weak to swim in the shallows. The ecosystem reels from this loss. With fewer adult fish to spawn, each season brings a smaller generation. The food web begins to unravel. Predatory fish find little to hunt and scavengers search in vain for scraps. The signs of overfishing are everywhere. The water's edge is littered with remnants of what once was. A few small fish, the discarded shells of snails, and the silent testimony of a river in decline. In a healthy river, these young fish would be left to grow, to replenish the population and feed the many mouths that depend on them. Now their numbers dwindle, and the river's future grows uncertain. For the Nile crocodile, the consequences are dire. These ancient predators, perfectly adapted to the river's ebb and flow, now find themselves in a world where their traditional prey is vanishing. Driven by hunger, crocodiles search the shrinking waters for sustenance. Their keen senses detect the absence of large fish, and their patience is tested as they wait for a meal that may never come. The depletion of fish forces crocodiles to adapt, to become more opportunistic, and to push the boundaries of their ancient hunting grounds. The river's silence is broken only by the ripple of a crocodile's tail, or the sudden splash as it investigates a possible meal. The river's emptiness echoes in the crocodile's hunger. Where once there was abundance, now there is only scarcity. The balance that sustained life for generations is slipping away. The ecosystem's distress is visible in every ripple, every shadow beneath the surface. The river's story is one of desperation, a cycle where the loss of fish leads to hunger, and hunger drives the crocodile to the edge of survival. The Zambezi's great predators are now locked in a struggle not just with their prey, but with the very environment that once sustained them. The river's decline is a warning, a sign that when the balance is lost, every creature must face the consequences. The cycle of overfishing and desperation continues, echoing through the water and the lives of those who depend on it. The Zambezi story is not just one of survival, but of a delicate balance now teetering on the brink. In this perfect storm of scarcity, the crocodile's hunger becomes a force of nature, an urgent reminder that the fate of the river's wildest inhabitants is inseparable from the health of the ecosystem itself. The Zambezi's crisis is an environmental tragedy, its consequences rippling outward through every scale and fin, every tooth and claw. The story of overfishing is written in the silence of the river and in the desperate search for survival that now defines its wildest creatures. To truly comprehend the scale of the tragedy on the Zambezi, you have to understand the environment and the creatures that inhabit it. The Zambezi River is home to one of the most formidable predators on the planet, the Nile crocodile. These ancient reptiles have perfected the art of survival over millions of years, blending seamlessly into their surroundings. Their hunting tactics are a masterclass in patience and precision, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The river that sustains them is also a harsh and unforgiving environment, where only the strongest and most cunning survive. The accounts from the wild paint a vivid picture of the moments when the prehistoric world erupts into the modern one, leaving a trail of devastation. One such story is that of a young crocodile learning to hunt, honing its skills in the treacherous waters of the Zambezi. 10 years before, this crocodile was just a hatchling, navigating the dangers of the river with its siblings. Suddenly its world was turned upside down. A huge predator slammed into its territory, forcing it to fight for survival. The young crocodile seized the opportunity, its powerful jaws clamping down on its prey, attempting to drag it under into a death roll. In a miraculous moment of instinct and strength, it managed to secure its meal, refusing to let the river's harshness win. The young crocodile survived that day, but the cost was immense. It bore the scars of the encounter, a testament to the constant battle for survival in the Zambezi. For most creatures, such a traumatic and life-altering experience would be enough to avoid the water again. But this crocodile story is also one of unbelievable fortitude. Despite its horrific injuries and the constant danger, it continues to hunt. Every single day it returns to the river because it has no other choice. Its survival depends on it. Its story is a powerful testament to the resilience of nature, but also a stark illustration of the harsh realities these creatures face: risk death by predator or starve. These personal accounts are crucial because they humanize the conflict. They transform the crocodiles from simple predators into the agents of immense survival and adaptation. The struggle for survival in the Zambezi is a somber, heartbreaking affair, a scene repeated all too often along the river. The entire ecosystem mourns, not just for the individual lost, but for the collective vulnerability they all share. These stories of survival and loss are the true measure of the conflict, echoing across the water and serving as a constant, chilling reminder of the price of living alongside the Zambezi's ancient killers. Along the vast expanse of Lake Cahora Bassa, the river's surface conceals a world of silent tension and primal instinct. Beneath the shimmering water, crocodiles glide with ancient patience, their senses finely attuned to every vibration and scent that drifts through the current. In the darkness, the river becomes a stage for the drama of survival. Crocodiles, with their acute hearing and sensitivity to the faintest tremors, are drawn to disturbances that signal opportunity. The splash of a fish, the flutter of a bird, or the subtle shift of water against a log, all are natural attractants woven into the fabric of the river's nightly rhythm. The instincts of these predators are honed by millennia of evolution. When fish thrash in the shallows or a school is trapped against a sandbar, the vibrations travel far, alerting crocodiles to the presence of vulnerable prey. The river's currents carry these signals, amplifying the allure for any nearby hunter. Crocodiles possess specialized organs along their jaws that detect the faintest changes in water pressure. This allows them to pinpoint the source of a disturbance with uncanny precision, even in total darkness. The river itself becomes a network of invisible threads, each one tugged by the movement of potential prey. The dynamics of the river play a crucial role. Eddies and currents can concentrate the sense of blood or the vibrations of struggling animals, creating hotspots that attract crocodiles from great distances. The predators learn to associate certain areas and times with the likelihood of an easy meal. Over time, crocodiles adapt to the patterns of the river. They remember where fish are most plentiful, where the water is shallowest, and where the currents bring the greatest rewards. Their instincts guide them to these places, night after night, as they wait for the next sign of opportunity. Any unnatural sound or movement, be it a sudden splash or a rhythmic vibration, can trigger a crocodile's curiosity. Their intelligence allows them to learn and adapt, associating new cues with the promise of food. The river's natural attractants are thus amplified by anything that breaks the usual silence. In this world, the line between safety and danger is drawn by instinct and the ever-changing dynamics of the river. The crocodiles, ever watchful, respond to the river's signals with a blend of patience and predatory cunning, always ready to exploit the next opportunity that nature or chance provides. To truly grasp the formidable nature of the Nile crocodile, we must delve deep into its biology, its hunting mastery, and its vital role within the river ecosystem. The Nile crocodile, Crocodilus niloticus, is a living relic, a survivor from the age of dinosaurs whose lineage stretches back over 200 million years. Its body is a testament to evolutionary perfection, armored with thick, rugged scales that shield it from both predators and rivals. These are not mere reptiles, they are apex predators, sculpted by millennia to dominate their watery domain. Their senses are razor-sharp, with acute vision, a keen sense of smell, and the ability to detect the faintest vibrations in the water. An adult Nile crocodile can reach over 16 feet in length and tip the scales at nearly 2,000 pounds, making it one of the largest and most powerful reptiles on Earth. Its sheer size alone commands respect in the animal kingdom. Every part of its anatomy is built for predation. The muscular tail acts as a propulsive engine, launching the crocodile forward with explosive speed. Its jaws, lined with conical teeth, can slam shut with a force exceeding 3,000 pounds per square inch, enough to crush bone and hold even the most desperate prey. The Nile crocodile is a master of patience and camouflage. It can remain motionless for hours, blending seamlessly with the muddy riverbed or the tangled reeds, its mottled skin breaking up its outline in the dappled light. Its primary hunting technique is ambush. With only its eyes and nostrils exposed above the water, it waits for the perfect moment, watching and calculating, ready to strike with lightning speed. The placement of its eyes and nostrils atop its head is a marvel of design, allowing the crocodile to breathe and observe, while the rest of its body remains hidden beneath the surface. It can hold its breath for over an hour, lying in wait beneath the water, conserving energy and waiting for the ideal opportunity to strike. The slightest ripple or movement at the water's surface can trigger an explosive response. In an instant, the crocodile surges forward, jaws agape, seizing its prey with unyielding force. Its diet is as varied as the river itself. Fish, birds, antelope, and even other reptiles fall victim to its ambush. The crocodile's digestive system is highly efficient, capable of breaking down bone, hooves, and horns, leaving little to waste. Stealth is its greatest weapon. With barely a ripple, it glides through the water, propelled by its powerful tail, its movements almost imperceptible until the final, fatal lunge. Nile crocodiles are fiercely territorial, especially the dominant males. They patrol and defend prime stretches of river, engaging in dramatic displays and sometimes violent clashes to assert their dominance. Basking in the sun is essential for these cold-blooded giants. It allows them to regulate their body temperature and aids in the digestion of their most recent meal. The sandbars and riverbanks of the Zambezi and its lakes are vital habitats, providing both basking sites and access to abundant prey. During the hottest hours, crocodiles can often be seen sprawled along the banks, soaking up the sun's energy, their bodies perfectly adapted to the rhythms of the river. After a successful hunt, a crocodile may bask for days, digesting its meal and storing energy for the next opportunity. These basking gatherings are not just for warmth. They are social events where hierarchies are established and territories are reinforced. The intelligence of the Nile crocodile is remarkable. It learns from experience, remembers successful hunting spots, and can even recognize patterns in the behavior of its prey. Far from being mindless predators, these reptiles are calculating hunters, capable of adapting their strategies to changing conditions and new challenges. They can associate sounds and movements with the presence of prey, altering their approach to maximize their chances of success. When fish are plentiful, the crocodile will feast on them, but it is always alert for new opportunities, ever ready to exploit the river's bounty. To understand the Nile crocodile is to appreciate a creature of immense power, patience, and intelligence. A keystone predator whose presence shapes the very fabric of the river ecosystem. Along the restless banks of the Zambezi, the river's wild inhabitants moved in a delicate, ever-shifting dance. Crocodiles, ancient and patient, glided beneath the surface, their presence a silent force that shaped the lives of every creature nearby. The river was a place of uneasy truce. Each day, antelope and warthog approached the water with trembling caution, their eyes scanning for the telltale ripple of a lurking predator. Birds gathered in noisy flocks, some bold enough to perch atop the crocodiles themselves, picking at parasites in a momentary alliance. But peace was fragile. A sudden lunge from beneath the surface sent fish scattering in a flash of silver, the river's calm shattered by the raw power of a crocodile's jaws. The survivors regrouped, wary and alert, the cycle of tension and release repeating endlessly. Even the mighty hippos, rulers of the shallows, kept a wary distance from the largest crocodiles. Their bellowing calls echoed across the water, a warning and a plea for space, as the balance of power shifted with the seasons and the rise and fall of the river. When drought gripped the land, the river shrank, and the struggle for survival intensified. Crocodiles crowded into shrinking pools, their patience tested as prey grew scarce. Marabou storks and scavengers circled, waiting for the weak to falter. In the reeds, a mother crocodile guarded her nest, the fragile eggs threatened by hungry monitor lizards and opportunistic birds. Each life was a gamble, every hatchling a testament to the river's harsh rules. The newly hatched made a desperate dash for the water, dodging snapping fish and the sharp beaks of herons. Only a handful would survive, the rest claimed by the river's relentless hunger. Yet in rare moments of calm, crocodiles basked in the sun, their armored bodies still as stone. Dragonflies danced above them, and the air shimmered with the promise of rain, a brief respite before the next struggle. The river itself was always changing. Heavy rains sent torrents of muddy water downstream, reshaping banks and forcing animals to adapt. Crocodiles claimed new territory, while fish and birds sought shelter in unfamiliar places. Sometimes the greatest threat came from within. Dominant males clashed in silent, violent contests, their battles sending ripples through the ecosystem. The victor claimed the best hunting grounds, the vanquished forced to wander in search of safety. In the deep channels, the largest crocodiles reigned supreme. Their movements sent waves of fear through the smaller creatures, a reminder that peace on the Zambezi was always hard-won and fleeting. As the sun set, the river came alive with the chorus of frogs and the calls of night birds. Crocodiles slipped silently through the water, ever watchful, ever hungry, their presence a constant thread in the tapestry of life. In the moonlight, the Zambezi's wild inhabitants paused, each one playing its part in the ancient struggle for survival. Here, peace was not the absence of danger, but the fragile balance that allowed life to endure another day. The desperate plea for peace echoed not in words, but in the silent negotiations of predator and prey, in the shifting currents and the watchful eyes that never closed. On the Zambezi, every creature's survival depended on the balance of nature, a balance as beautiful as it was brutal, and as fragile as the morning mist. After a tense and patient wait, the hunt concluded. Ivan Carter successfully targeted and killed a massive crocodile, a formidable predator that had long ruled these waters. The sound of the rifle shot echoed across the water, marking the end of an apex hunter's reign. But for those who had gathered, the process was far from over. The true story of this ancient reptile would be revealed only by examining what it had consumed. The team prepared to open the crocodile's stomach, eager to uncover the secrets of its diet and its place in the river's food chain. It was a moment of anticipation, rooted in curiosity about the life of a top predator. The question lingered: what does a crocodile of this size truly eat to sustain its massive bulk? With the heavy anticipation of the community hanging in the air, Carter and his team began the careful task of dissection, ready to reveal the hidden story within. The necropsy of a creature this large is a difficult and unpleasant job, but it is the only way to truly understand the life of a river giant. As the stomach was opened, the team peered inside, searching for clues about the crocodile's diet and hunting habits. The contents revealed the story of a master predator, perfectly adapted to its environment. Inside, there were the unmistakable remains of fish, scales, bones, and fins, evidence of the crocodile's skill at ambushing prey in the shallows. There were also fragments of turtle shell, a testament to the crocodile's powerful jaws and its ability to crack through even the toughest defenses. The stomach contained feathers and the bones of water birds, showing that this predator was opportunistic, striking at anything that ventured too close to the water's edge. There were even remnants of small mammals, fur, teeth and claws, demonstrating the crocodile's dominance over a wide range of riverbank creatures. Occasionally, the crocodile's diet included crustaceans and snails, their shells ground down by the animal's powerful digestive system. The variety of remains painted a vivid picture of the river's food chain, with the crocodile reigning at the very top. This discovery transformed the dead crocodile from a mere animal into a living embodiment of the river's wild, untamed power. It was a moment of awe and respect, a reminder of the ancient struggle for survival that plays out every day along the riverbanks. The river had given up one of its secrets, revealing the intricate web of life that sustains its most fearsome predator. For those who witnessed the dissection, it was a lesson in the raw realities of nature. The evidence justified the crocodile's reputation and provided a tangible focus for understanding the river's delicate balance. For Carter, it was a sobering reminder of the power and complexity of the natural world. While the removal of this crocodile changed the dynamic for a time, it did nothing to alter the ancient cycles that govern life and death along the Zambezi. The discovery of the crocodile's varied diet was not an end to the story, but rather a powerful reminder of the ongoing struggle for survival in the wild. It proved, without a shadow of a doubt, the crocodile's role as a master hunter, and reinforced the knowledge that the river's food chain is as unforgiving as it is fascinating. The investigation's conclusion was as clear as it was troubling. What unfolds on the Zambezi is not simply a crocodile problem, but a profound ecological challenge. At its core, the crisis is a story of the river's ancient inhabitants, creatures whose behaviors are shaped by the delicate balance of their environment. The escalating conflict is a direct symptom of immense environmental pressure, as the river's natural rhythms are disrupted and habitats shrink. As the ecosystem strains, crocodiles are forced to adapt, venturing further in search of food, competing with other predators, and testing the boundaries of their ancient territories. These ancient predators, once content to remain hidden, now find themselves at the edge of survival, their instincts sharpened by scarcity and change. Removing individual crocodiles may offer a fleeting sense of safety to the ecosystem's balance, but it does nothing to address the underlying environmental strain that drives their behavior. The long-term solution cannot be found in the removal of predators. True coexistence requires a fundamental shift in the way the ecosystem is managed and restored. The path to coexistence is complex and challenging, but not impossible. One of the most promising avenues is the restoration of natural food sources, ensuring that fish populations are robust and aquatic life flourishes. This could involve protecting spawning grounds, allowing riverbank vegetation to recover, and letting the wetlands breathe life back into the river. When the ecosystem is healthy, crocodiles can rely on their natural prey, and the intricate dance of predator and prey resumes its ancient rhythm. Understanding crocodile behavior is also key, recognizing their patterns, their needs, and the subtle signals they send through the landscape. Myths and misunderstandings about these creatures can be replaced with knowledge that fosters respect and reduces unnecessary conflict. Furthermore, addressing the environmental factors that drive scarcity is critical. By nurturing the river's biodiversity, the pressure on any single species is reduced, and the ecosystem as a whole becomes more resilient. This might include restoring natural nurseries for fish, supporting the web of life that sustains both predator and prey. As the river's bounty returns, crocodiles once again find their place as apex predators, hunting fish and maintaining the balance of the food chain. With abundant food, the motivation for dangerous encounters diminishes, and the ecosystem finds its equilibrium. This is a long-term strategy that requires patience and commitment, but it addresses the problem at its source, healing the river and its inhabitants together. Ultimately, the future of the Zambezi depends on a balance where every creature, from the smallest fish to the mightiest crocodile, can survive and thrive. This may involve creating natural safe zones, areas where wildlife can flourish undisturbed and the river's rhythms can continue unbroken. Protected spaces allow the river's inhabitants to feed, breed, and rest without fear, strengthening the entire ecosystem. It requires a combination of practical, on-the-ground solutions and broader ecological management, restoring what has been lost and protecting what remains. The story of Lake Cahorabassa is a tragic but powerful lesson. It teaches us that when an ecosystem is pushed to its breaking point, the natural world will respond in ways both dramatic and unexpected. The only way forward is to manage our impact, restore the river's balance, and find innovative ways for all of the Zambezi's magnificent wildlife to coexist in harmony. Beneath the tangled thickets along the Zambezi's banks, a quiet drama unfolds each year. As the river's waters recede and the rains soften the earth, female Nile crocodiles begin a search for the perfect nesting site, a patch of sandy soil above the floodline, sheltered by reeds and shaded from the harshest sun. With powerful limbs, the mother carves a deep hollow in the earth, using her jaws and claws to shape a nest that will cradle the next generation. Into this carefully crafted chamber she lays up to 60 eggs, each one a fragile vessel of life, coated in a leathery shell. The eggs are buried and covered with soil, hidden from predators and insulated from the changing temperatures of the riverbank. For months the mother remains near, a silent sentinel. She guards the nest from monitor lizards, birds, and other scavengers, her instincts tuned to the faintest sign of danger. Within the buried clutch the embryos grow, their development shaped by the warmth of the sun and the embrace of the earth. Remarkably, the temperature of the nest will determine the sex of the hatchlings, cooler sands producing females while warmer pockets yield males. As the weeks pass, the river's rhythms continue, sometimes flooding, sometimes drying, always changing. Finally, after nearly 3 months, the eggs begin to tremble. Tiny snouts break through the shells, and the hatchlings utter high-pitched calls from beneath the earth. Drawn by their cries, the mother returns, gently excavating the nest with her jaws to free her young. One by one the hatchlings emerge, miniature replicas of their ancient ancestors, eyes alert and bodies poised for survival. The mother gathers them delicately in her mouth, carrying them to the safety of the water's edge. Here, in the shallows, the cycle of life continues. The river is both cradle and crucible. Only a fraction of the hatchlings will survive, evading fish, birds, and other predators that stalk the vulnerable young. Yet each survivor is a testament to resilience As they slip into the currents, the next generation of Nile crocodiles begins its journey, shaped by the eternal pulse of the Zambezi. In this ancient river, the mystery of life persists, unbroken, undiminished, and forever entwined with the fate of the land itself. Beneath the shimmering surface of the Zambezi, a vibrant web of life pulses with every current. This ancient river is home to an astonishing array of prey species, each uniquely adapted to survive in a world where danger lurks at every bend. The African tigerfish, famed for its speed and razor-sharp teeth, patrols the open channels in search of unsuspecting victims. Agile and aggressive, it relies on schooling behavior for both offense and defense, darting through the water in dazzling displays of synchronized movement. Nearby, the sturdy tilapia graze among submerged vegetation, their broad bodies and strong jaws perfectly suited for nibbling on river weeds and algae. Tilapia are prolific breeders, releasing clouds of tiny fry that scatter and hide among roots and reeds, hoping to escape hungry mouths. On the sandy bottoms, armored catfish sift through mud and silt, using sensitive barbels to detect edible morsels. Their tough, bony plates offer some protection from predators, but vigilance remains their best defense. Further upstream, herds of red lechwe antelope graze the floodplains. With long, splayed hooves, they move easily through marshy ground, always wary of the water's edge. Here, the line between land and river blurs, and a moment's distraction can mean a swift attack from beneath. Even the nimble African jacana, known as the lily trotter, tiptoes across floating vegetation, its long toes spreading its weight as it searches for insects and snails. Yet even these light-footed birds must keep a watchful eye on the silent approach of a crocodile. Each species has evolved strategies to evade their reptilian hunter. Fish dart for cover at the flicker of a shadow, while antelope gather in groups, their senses tuned to the faintest ripple in the river. Birds take flight at the slightest splash, and even the smallest creatures, frogs, crabs, and snails, have learned to freeze or burrow when danger is near. Yet the relationship between crocodile and prey is not merely one of hunter and hunted. Their lives are intertwined in a delicate balance, each shaping the other through the relentless pressures of the survival. The abundance of prey sustains the crocodile, while the threat of predation drives the evolution of speed, camouflage, and cunning in every creature that shares the river. In the Zambezi, every life is linked to the next. The river's prey are not just survivors, they are architects of the ecosystem, their behaviors and adaptations echoing through the waters, shaping the destiny of predator and prey alike. As the sun dips below the horizon, the Zambezi transforms. Shadows stretch across the water and a hush settles over the riverbanks, but beneath the cloak of darkness the wilderness awakens in a symphony of sound and movement. The night belongs to the stealthy and the watchful. Along the muddy banks, crocodiles emerge from their daytime lairs with a silent patience. Their eyes, glowing with reflected moonlight, scan the shoreline for the faintest hint of motion. In the cool night air, these ancient predators become almost invisible, submerged, motionless, waiting for opportunity. And the river's surface breaks with the splash of a hunting crocodile. In the inky water, their powerful tails propel them forward, in sudden bursts, targeting unsuspecting prey drawn to the river's edge for a midnight drink. Fish scatter in frantic schools, their bodies flashing silver as they dart from danger. Frogs leap for cover among reeds, their croaks echoing across the water, warning of threats unseen. The air is thick with the chorus of insects, crickets, cicadas, and buzzing mosquitoes, punctuated by the occasional distant call of a nightjar or the haunting hoot of an owl perched in the overhanging trees. Bats swoop low over the water, snatching moths and beetles in mid-flight, while otters slip through the shadows, hunting for fish beneath the surface. On land, herds of antelope retreat to higher ground, but some, like the red lechwe, linger in the marshes, relying on their keen senses and swift legs to detect danger. Small mammals, Mongooses, genets and bush babies scurry through the undergrowth, foraging for food while keeping a wary distance from the water's edge. Yet it is the crocodile who reigns supreme in this nocturnal world. With every patient breath and calculated strike, it reminds the river's inhabitants that the true ruler of the Zambezi is never fully seen, only felt. A ripple in the dark, a pair of eyes above the water, a sudden silence where life once stirred. As dawn approaches, the first rays of sunlight scatter the shadows, and the river's night-dwellers retreat. But the memory of the hunt lingers, woven into the fabric of the Zambezi's wild and restless nights. Beneath the calm surface of the Zambezi, a hidden world of crocodile society unfolds. Though often seen as solitary predators, Nile crocodiles are surprisingly social creatures, communicating and interacting in ways that remain mysterious to many. Communication begins before birth. Inside their eggs, hatchlings emit high-pitched calls signaling their readiness to emerge. These calls prompt attentive mothers to uncover nests and gently carry their young to the water's edge, a first act of care in a world ruled by survival. Once in the river, crocodiles develop complex methods of interaction. Vocalizations, ranging from deep bellows and growls to sharp hisses, carry through water and air. These sounds serve as warnings, challenges, or calls for companionship, and can be heard during territorial disputes or courtship displays. Body language plays an equally vital role. Crocodiles use subtle gestures, raising their heads, snapping jaws, or arching their backs to convey dominance or submission. During the dry season, when water is scarce and basking spots are limited, these signals help maintain a delicate balance within crowded groups. Hierarchy is strictly enforced. The largest and oldest males command prime territory and mating rights. Younger or weaker crocodiles yield, avoiding direct conflict through careful displays of deference. Yet in times of abundance, even rivals may bask side by side, united by the river's bounty. Social bonds are most evident among mothers and their young. Females guard nests fiercely and may cooperate with other mothers, forming nurseries where hatchlings swim together under watchful eyes. These early alliances foster a sense of community, even as most will eventually disperse to claim their own stretches of river. Through a silent language of sound and movement, Nile crocodiles maintain order and connection. Their hidden society, ancient and enduring, shapes life along the Zambezi, reminding us that even the fiercest predators are guided by unspoken rules and subtle ties. In the next chapter, we'll explore how these secretive giants shape the very ecosystem they inhabit. The Zambezi River, lifeblood of southern Africa, is changing. As global temperatures rise, the river's ancient rhythms are disrupted, sending ripples through every layer of its ecosystem. Rainfall patterns, once predictable, now swing between extremes. Seasons of drought parch the land, shrinking the river's flow, while sudden, intense storms unleash devastating floods. The riverbanks erode and vital wetlands vanish, altering the very shape of the Zambezi. For the Nile crocodile, these changes carry profound consequences. During drought, shrinking pools concentrate prey and predators alike, intensifying competition and conflict. Nesting grounds become exposed or submerged, threatening the survival of fragile eggs. Without stable sandbanks and consistent water levels, fewer hatchlings survive to adulthood. When floods come, they can sweep away entire nests, scattering young crocodiles and reshaping territories overnight. Fish populations, the primary food source for crocodiles, are equally vulnerable. Warmer waters and erratic flows disrupt spawning cycles, reducing numbers and shifting species distribution. With prey in decline, crocodiles must travel farther and riskier distances in search of food, increasing the likelihood of starvation and strife. Beneath the surface, the river's hidden world struggles to adapt. Aquatic plants, insects and amphibians, each finely tuned to the Zambezi's seasonal pulse, face new challenges. Some species disappear while others invade, upsetting the delicate balance that has endured for millennia. Yet the Zambezi endures. Crocodiles, ancient survivors, adapt as best they can, changing nesting sites, altering hunting patterns, and finding new ways to communicate their needs. But the pace of change is relentless, and the river's resilience is tested as never before. In this unfolding drama, the fate of the Nile crocodile is inseparable from the river itself. The Zambezi's future, shaped by climate and currents, will determine the destiny of all who call it home. Only time will reveal which traditions endure, and which are swept away by the changing tides.